Offensive Sky trying to either feign information or take it for real, and the execute is going to be in on A this time. Redux does pop that ult. Wingman coming through almost gets the stun. Redux just doesn't know where to look. There's nothing coming in for backside, and that just allows the backside players to have open angles, open crossfires. The Brimstone ultimate is coming in super late. They can't actually get the spike down. It's on the ground on default because of the Wingman's unfortunate demise. Mata just swinging through with the crispiest aim. A great hold from Moist Shopify, but simply not a comprehensive hit from Oxygen.
That defensive Wingman was disgusting. Redux wants to scale into backside. He needs to get there with that showstopper. But again, who's going to win? A highly powered rocket from an absolutely rabid, agent, or one little guy that prevents Redux from penetrating to scale into the backside with that ultimate? You can't use it on a Wingman, of course, so you have to go elsewhere. And that completely shuts down that push for Oxygen. That is, the value there is just unreal. It's disgusting. And then, of course, we see the Brim on defense. That's why they were getting that extra orb. Vic knows he can just shut down that Wingman plant and they can stay safe. Oxygen, that's devastating.
Absolutely crushing the economy in dire straits, especially so because the Wingmen died mid-plant. They didn't get the plant money. They expended both of the ultimates that they had online. Mata and Vic are still on fire. This is tough going for the Oxygen side right now. The last 5 times these two teams have played, Oxygen came out on top 4 of them. So Moist Moguls, that little off-season move, bringing in Odorous, the changes they've made since then. Listen, it's looking like it's all coming to fruition. The doubts that people had in their minds over this team, the decision that they made, certainly coming to a close. Finally gonna get a one-up on their rival. At least it seems that way.
We're talking about a Moist Moguls team, part of this MSX squad that almost made ascension. They had to run up against M80 and at the time the Guard, right? And that's what they sort of fell away. But they really bounced back in that second half of the Challenger season. This time they're not taking any prisoners. What a beautiful way to start this campaign against one that's become a very familiar rival for them here in the Tier 2 scene. Here we go again, though. It's going to be presence towards A. Sky flash through the TP. Says no one is in the vicinity.
Hookah being controlled aggressively by Moist Shopify. Fly, of course, used that flash early down into B Fountain to try and get a ping. That Skybird sound, and it was mute. But regardless, they are retaining this space. Oh my god, what a shot from Verno that is, man. Nice little jiggle spots out Mata. The nade gonna come through. It's gonna force Mata out of the open, or it'll force him to just die, which is exactly what happens. That's a nice little clearing of Hookah. And now with a minute on the clock, Oxygen have shown that they have patience in these situations, that they don't feel the need to rush. And they're going to slow things down yet again.
This is so meticulous for Oxygen this time around. Yeah, far cry from what we saw from them in the previous rounds where it's all go in high gear and just getting caught out by a couple of contingencies they don't account for. And now, their prize. They walk right up onto the B site here. It's going to be a timing for Brock.
30 seconds left.
Mitch is going to see that, and this is going to let Redux get right into the back.
Flyer, maybe a miracle. The one in position to do it, waiting for that TP. Vic going to come in to help, has a molly. Could fire that back site, flush the players out.
Running low on util, the attackers. So loaded that Gecko util to work with. A late Dizzy could be back-breaking. It's not needed in the end. Escuba and Verno can take their duels. And Oxygen really off the back of such a clever 2-kill clear of Hookah. They knew what they were running into. Again, that's why they light on util for the post plant, but that's fine. They got tons of value for it. And finally get one back.
Yeah, that was quite silly. That was very silly how they, dealt with Hookah there, but listen, not much for Mata to do when you're stuck in that situation. Do you satchel across and die to bullets, or do you try and jump in the air and not die to the nade? It's not the best situation to be in. This Thrash is going to be easy for clearing out Shower as the rest of the players from Oxygen go for this fast hit down short, flash for back sight.
Got your
They're going to fight for the control this time, and they get it.
Yeah, Thrash also gives you control of showers. This is big. This will allow Verno to come up and have a good angle on fence. Backside, very well populated by Oxygen right now. Seekers tells you everything you need to know about where the defenders are posted, although at this point you've eliminated all the other options anyway. And now it's a waiting game. MXS have no flank presence. They need to face coming out from heaven, and Flyer and Mutter have had a great start of this. There's now no presence left inside showers. Redux sitting on a paint shell. You still have the post plant util to abuse. And Thrash is back in hands now. Verno sends it in. Not a whole lot to see. No detain. Molly on site. Redux is going to have to do a little bit more work though. Dizzy sees nothing. Mosh pit on the point. Gonna be Verno now in a 1 versus 4. Who can't stop it? Brock sticks the defuse. And that's mental. Oxygen scale so deep into back A. They have site control. When they lose on the double faces from MXX, from heaven, from vents, everywhere.
Those moments of quality team fundamentals have been just abundant in this entire series from MXS. It's one thing that they have not really at any point shown weakness in. Really, really fantastic retake from them, clearing out all those positions effectively together, trading nicely.
That's a backbreaker for Oxygen just after they'd managed to get one back. So stopper here for Marta. And they are audacious on A short right now. Opting to lean away from showers for possibly that reason and embed Brock pretty deeply here towards heaven. Marta has the angle, but Mitch cannily able to sidestep that.
Some shower control taken from Oxygen, and they're just going to retreat. That dog is going to re-clear all of it, though. Giving good information to Moist Shopify, and now Oxygen thinking, oh, okay, whoops, we have to go back in the shower and show some presence again with a minute on the clock. Or they can just go for the exec, of course, because now the false info has been gained, which is
right
exactly what's going to happen. Just walk right back in. Oh, good timing. Thank you for the dog. Really appreciate that. And here's the exec.
Vic wants to slow this down, but it's not going to be quick enough. We're all going to get hit by the Trailblazer now. Sends a Dizzy out to cover him, but it's a flash that comes in. Everything in the kitchen sink being deployed to keep him in that spot. But Dapper gets to the back of the side and puts the Viper's pit down. No connection there on the rocket. Redux able to bring Marta down, but that's the Viper out of the picture. Dapper's down, and again the defenders are coming back with more. Brock here. It's Thrash time. There's a player on A short. He knows that now for a fact, and there's one inside U-Haul. Scuba's in trouble. A double face is possible here. Odashima does what needs to be done. It's just Scuba in the 1 versus 3. Vic leaps and bounds in his direction, and Brock has started the defuse. This could be big for Scuba. He can interrupt this. Brock gets it hard. The will fall. Scuba
in charge.
salvages the round for Oxygen after it all looked to be going wrong all over again.
Incredible clutch. Oh my God, Scuba is so nice. This guy has just been at that level. What you just saw, he's been doing that for years. And for years, people have wondered, why the hell is this guy not on a tier 1 team? Why is he not getting a shot? He just makes magic happen consistently. He has just always been one of the best fragging controllers at this tier of NA play, and it's always felt like he deserved a shot on one of these top teams.
What a way to show your caliber and win potentially the most important round of this game, at least the most important of the half. Giving Oxygen a staging ground to try and mount a comeback here on the attacking side. Redux, okay. Wingman's there. Brock thinks it's just the one. He tries to go for it. And now he's given up U-Haul entirely. That'll be cleared, and we'll have the Wingman plant, post-plant positions to be assumed.
Let's see how they set up this post-plant here in the 5v4. Redux does have that ultimate online. Ooh. Nice little tap from Verno, which will damn near seal the deal.
Yeah, how do you fight into all this util? It's so obnoxious, and it's pretty damn oppressive. First the paint shells. Comes the flash. Redux being forced away from U-Haul here, but that's that molly coming down. Flyer flashes towards it. Gonna have to eat some of that molly damage here. Very low on this swing towards A short, but Marta's gonna be there. A double face. MXS at least having a crack at this. Verno's just gonna wait for the contact from Mitch, and no, instead MXS pull the plug. They know it's done. Another one for Oxygen. After the heroics of Scuba, they're able to string a couple together, make this much more respectable.
There's so many small moments that continue to sell me on and really respect Redux and Verno. There are a lot of young, great players out there that are flashy, they're hitting crazy shots, and you can see potential in that way. But it's small moments like that from Redux that, in my mind, set him apart from other players of that same trajectory. Just heads up, using the satchels, just delaying, not taking the fights, not trying to get a flash in there so he can swing. He's just going to delay. They're in an advantage situation. He's not kill hungry. He's just making the percentage logical play. And I see that from him and Verno really, really consistently, to the point where it's just a dedicated pattern. And that is what sets apart these young star players that are going to make it from the ones who, you know, have all the talent, have all the skill, and are still trying to crack into that top echelon. It's just one of the many reasons why these two guys, they just clearly have it.
What a combo. What a couple of rounds here to pick up. Thrash up again for Verno. Again, we're seeing multiple uses from those on many of these rounds, even for attackers. So how do they look to play around this? Pings to be here. It's a free way to clear hookah. Scale in behind it, pick it back up, and go again after in the post plant. They can open with the flash to see nothing.
Oh yeah! Monster on the
Use that dog to clear up long. Thrash to clear through hookah. And now they just have to worry about the site. The Thrash is getting in there, as is Redux. Double satcheling through. The space is claimed. Look at this Viper's pit, though, coming up on the defensive side to try and scale into this quickly.
They still have to swing that. Mitch watching it, but we'll have to aim correct at some point. Love that Dizzy. Straight towards. Oh, that combo is good! Redux on the reduction game plan. Knocking MXS down by 2. To make it even here in the post plant. The Viper Spit's still active, though. At some point, Otoshima has to go for this. You have to swing it. Oh, that Thrash is found 2. He's eaten today. Scuba, though, down to 1. It's going to be Vic able to swing that and find the kill. Otoshima and Mata have got to go for it now. The double face, but the Viper pit is down. And Verno holds it. What a come up, just as you want to mention him, Wyatt. Another delivery from the young star.
Absolute class from that duo yet again, but just a comprehensive site take from Oxygen, right? Dog to clear up all of long. Thrash clears out all of hookah, gets a little bit of info on the site, allows Redux opportunity to satchel in there. And from there, though, it's the second layer that is the most crucial. After they take the site, it's that flash from Mitch that comes through into elbow. Redux saving his ultimate for that moment, not using it on the initial site exec. So nice.
Oh, buddy. Oxygen are back in this. What? What's that? The audacity of flying a quick scope straight down B long and find a freebie. Vic also gets his. Open up the sky. Oxygen are crippled. They are reeling after that. And it gets worse. Orbital strike. Shredding the health away from Mitch. Napa fancies to hang around a little bit, but I think, yeah, Oxygen are very much disincentivized by lingering on the B side of the map now.
Defenders crossing back from that orbital strike as well. Nice little kill from Mitch is going to allow entry into this A site. You are joking. Listen, there's a lot of things that Mitch offers to the team. Usually you're not thinking entries and firepower at the top of the list, respectfully, but in moments like that, god damn, that is nice. Somehow pulling his team back into this, almost going for third because he's just feeling it like that.
Rock is getting timing so bad on this side the last few rounds. It's been rough to watch. But the defenders do have a player advantage here, and that post-plant utility is almost non-existent. The Snapper and one Snakebite. Flyer. Any other day you have those. He doesn't have to do the work, just posture aggressively and let Vic and Otoshima clean up. MXS take a respectable 7 rounds away from the half, just as Oxygen started to really get a sniff of it. Very back and forth game. What a way to cap off this series between these two teams, Wyatt, that know each other so well.
So well. The 6th time that these teams have played from the off-season till now. Up until this point, 4-1 in match wins to Oxygen. And every single series has gone to 3 maps. Not one of them has been a 2-0. It is absolutely wild. These teams are just neck and neck, but it's always Oxygen that majority of the time that just get over the finish line. More Shopify with this new roster trying to put an end to that, and that is just ridiculous. That little quick scope at the very end. Oxygen are stacked up 4 on A here.
Yeah, very much playing into the Gecko game plan as Oxygen know what's coming. Marto, nice little translation there with the blast pack, but it gets caught out by the off angle of Mitch. Flash here from the sky, forcing Vic off of A short, and Oxygen really struggling. At least they doggedly defend that A short. Come out with the player advantage though. And Mitch is going to be waiting for this. She'll be able to trade this comfortably. They'll wait for Flyer and they'll nap him as the smoke drops.
Things gonna reset now. I say that, and that's a damn lie. They're just gonna send that wingman into plant.
False.
Straight away. Brock, the only man with some HP, has got a ghost. Listen, I do believe in Brock in a situation like this. All right, maybe not in a situation where he's getting mollied in the corner as well. That's tough.
What a pistol wire!
They've done it. Surely they win after they get the pistol win, right? Unless this is some kind of curse that's been activated by the fact they've finally won a pistol in this series. But
God, that would be rough. Again, they fight pretty doggedly for that A short control. There's no shortage of util they expend on it. MXS kind of just stack 2 players on top of Truck, right? They get Marta in position to receive. Oxygen just push down there. They even throw a defensive wingman at it. Whatever it takes to try and get an edge there and make it hard for that free, quote unquote, wingman plant. They invest.
Out of charges.
Scuba gonna get launched up into the cheeky corner spot. Redux gonna take a peek with the Marshal, try and get 1 kill and then just run his way out of there. Bait for Scuba's position, but the actual hit is just gonna be running it down A short. Oh my God.
Enemy remaining.
That is great. You love to see the 2 kills with the Outlaw with the 1. Oh my God, Mitch, what the hell are you doing?
He just needs to pick me up, you know what I mean? A little bit of a rough first half. Get something to get him going, you know?
Jesus Christ, that gave me a jump scare.
Oh man. Now the Outlaw doing what it was designed to do. Just as Rito intended.
I mean, hey, listen, good thing in their minds, they're glad they got those classics, didn't buy anything up, even though they didn't take the Outlaw into the next round anyway. They took the Judge, but, you know, you feel good about that at least.
All right. Good start here for Oxygen.
Toxins going up.
This time more distributed across the map, but still 2 players wanting to fight for showers. Might see a sky flash here. That's maybe partially what the smoke is designed for, to deny info from that. Again, give Scuba a chance to play a bit more forward here with the Bulldog. Yeah, Lassie inbound and outbound quickly. Pre-smoked.
And in the meantime, more Shopify gonna try and work B long where Mitch is just jump spotting. Sent that early flash and gets the info now. Just gonna force that orb to come up from Dapper, expend a bit of that Viper energy, and when that goes down, they're gonna actually work their way up long and go for this hit.
With Octagon knows. Oh no, okay. On that left-hand side cubby. And we're gonna contact this one. Straight through the wall we go. Wingman though doesn't quite get there. But MXS have to back up. The firepower at least to deliver on the threat of that push.
30 seconds left.
Mana blinded briefly, and Vic now starting to edge around that corner. They tried to deny that position with the snake bites at the start, and that's a mosh pit over towards CT. It's all up to Verno now. There's MXS finally come alive on this attack.
Spike planted.
Well done. Once they get into the site, they slow things down nicely. Don't overplay their hand. They allow the Oxygen retakers to get towards the site, take peeks of their own, and get punished. Good round here for Moy Shopify. Bruno wants to see if he can just catch 1 player in that corner, find a quick kill, do some economic damage before slipping out of there with the Vandal. But it won't happen. But that is no serious worry for him. Vandal saved, and they have a hell of a lot of money for the next round.
Yeah, happy enough with that. Easy buy back in. MXS though, don't lose too much on that. You gotta be pleased after losing the pistol. Your first buy, only dropping one gun. Thrash also available here for Brock. Something well worth keeping your eyes peeled for into the next round here is, again, we see what Oxygen did in the second half of Split. They did it on the second half of Lotus as well. They really start to gain control of the game. You gotta shut them out.
Brock does have that Thrash online early into a half. That could be the key to winning a pivotal round. And it looks like they want to go for just a big short play right now. It'd be a late watch on Shower. Shower is going to be taking control. Looks like Oxygen rather want to take control of Shower as well, which is going to be a crucial position for this hit coming in.
Saw you, March. Oh yeah,
Loving these
monster on the loose.
nerdy mollies. Look at this. Ha! Denied triple. Love to see that. Look at this. Straight into the back of the site we go. Mata, a beeline. Punches a hole straight through Mitch. And now gets the post up in U-Haul. Talk about fighting for backside. We've not seen a better example of it this match so far.
And if you look at the utility as well, Vic, he has that molly ready. He's in position to throw it late. Thrash gonna come in, which is just, if not get any tags, the delay from this is just so obnoxious for Oxygen to have to retake into.
Oh, cool. Great reaction there to clear that dizzy off. Dapper's going to struggle, but it's going to be a trade at the very least. Flyer was there, though. Where's the action going to come from now? Scuba and Verno realize they're committed, would love to slip away.
Look at Vic.
And maintain these weapons. Oh, he's going to catch him. God, say it ain't so. Verno with 35 HP. This is about to be a disaster.
Enemy remaining.
But Verno thinks better of it. Scuba's down. Well, damned if you do, damned if you don't, Verno. You're giving up that gun either way.
I love that pressure from Shopify at the very end just to try and crack the economy, which is exactly what they do. Crossing their T's and dotting their I's there after what was just a fantastic site exec. I mean, that round from second one to the final second was essentially pitch perfect. That site hit was immaculate. Mata getting that deep space, finding the kill onto Mitch, who was on the run from the Thrash, cycling the Thrash for delay. Everything there was just spot on. Oxygen, they want to go for an aggressive A short push here on this bad buy to try and even things up.
All up A short. Hiroshima won't be able to smell this out in time and gets absolutely wrecked. Not even a trade at best. Got a great start, and that will be a gun picked up by Verno. Bit of light armor as well on the side of Oxygen, so they're not completely skint. And MXS no closer to figuring out their win condition this round now as, again, a re-clear of A short. Care of the boom bot, and Redux has a sixth sense about this. Here he comes, Mata. Finds two! What? He already sees one! Verno's able to trade it back at the very least, but now we're in a 3 versus 3. Spike is headed over. It's Wingman doing the honors here.
Spike planted.
Oxygen with some weapons to work with, though, at the very least. That is beautiful. Verno delivers another one. First, shutting down the ulting raise. Now Flyers out of the picture. There's still the post plant to worry about. There's still the Brim set up here towards Showers, and Vic wins that fight out. Brock's going to be there, gets a lot of damage down at least. Forces Verno back, but a double face is going to put the pressure on the Gecko, and now it's up to Vic. It's a molly. Maybe even a little early. Dapper thinks about giving it a tickle now, has to wait it out. No, the timing's actually great. Vic may see a double face here. But in fact, Oxygen... Yeah, they're split up. Verno, that's beautiful stuff. They're going to have this. Great job by Oxygen to overcome that. A terrible start to the round for them.
Thrifty.
And Mata gets Stu with the ultimate, which is that. It's crazy that they recovered from that moment, but they do. I mean, it comes down to Verno individually showing his prowess yet again, topping the board for Oxygen, but gets a trade on Mata, and then crucially, that little jiggle into lamps to find that kill in the 3-on-3 was just so clean. I like the decision, though, also to just go for an aggressive play to begin the round off from Oxygen. Something different. You got to throw something new into the mix to catch off MXS at this point.
It feels so free as well. Back up behind that Viper wall. As soon as that drops, it's not even a trade. Verno able to trade at least that kill onto Mata. That was quite crucial. Him finding a double rocket there is something you can't always count on. And then Vic winning in Showers means that there's still the threat of that post plant util, right? But it doesn't come at the right time. Ultimately, it maybe was a little bit too early, but he was going to struggle to win out there. Great round by Verno. My God, this has been an absolute showing now as Oxygen have finally started to cobble a few key rounds back.
I'd like to continue to see some of that pressure on A, not necessarily towards short, but on a lot of these rounds, they've just been giving up shower in almost its entirety, which had, you know, bit them in the behind, especially on that round where they went for the thrash execute. That was 2 rounds ago or so. I want to see them focus a little bit more on control there, as it would help when the hit comes down on short, but this round for Oxygen, crucial elements is that they've got 4 ultimates to play with. You can go for a big retake if necessary.
Mata cheating his way down A short. Poison Orb blooms and he is in there. My God, he's getting so much space for absolutely free. Again, the potential to leave him embedded here until he unearths something. Absolutely on the table. Are Oxygen going to re-clear this to any degree? Have to think so.
It seems like Oxygen missed a timing window where they don't think Mata could have crossed because neither player is picking this up at all. They're just so unaware. Somehow Mata found the perfect timing.
That is absolutely absurd.
That is ridiculous. You could see seconds before that, neither player was paying any mind to lamps. They just clearly missed a window there.
One enemy remaining.
Bruno falls here and Vic's already on the wraparound. Things are going from bad to worse now for Oxygen. It's just Mitch. And he's got nothing, not a thing to do.
Oh, it must have been just but a second that those 2 A-site anchors' eyes were averted away from short, that they didn't think it was possible someone could have made that walk up, and Mata just hit that timing to an absolute perfection. Just lots of steam, an absolutely free round. Mitch on the run, money dire for Oxygen.
It's weird. Money is weird. Mitch at least going to be able to maintain this weapon in the next round, but MXS starting really starting to pick up speed here, and they're loving it. Their economy is absolutely rock solid. For the defenders, though, Spectre mixed in here. Okay, Stinger instead, Guardian. They got some ultimates to work with, and they can deny that wingman plant, so perhaps they don't fight as aggressively for race short here. Maybe they can afford to try and play to some of these weapons, but it's dire.
Yeah, we could see the Brimstone drop a tactical nuke on the poor little wingman if he's planting.
Hydrogen bomb coughing baby level.
It wouldn't be the first time we've seen that tragic imagery. You always hate to see that one happen.
You get desensitized. You don't see it enough times, man. Nothing phases you.
For more?
And we see that double clear from the dog and thrash, which we saw on the first half. This time, though, there's not going to be an execute off of the back of it. It's just going to be all of that noise and pressure put, the space taken into this big A execute.
Thrash makes his second appearance. Oh, really? Orbital strike here. Okay. Scuba actually goes for it now. Hoping to find something. Redux does at least get rid of Vic. Really thought he'd wait on that a little bit, but MXS have not been shifted from A short, and they're actually waiting on the angle. Verno full Scuba tries to take a timing, but Flyer is waiting for him. MXS is backside comfortably. The Dizzy got him in there, easy. Now he'll have to take a double face. Falls to the Guardian of Redux. There might be something here for Oxygen. Showstopper available. Paint shells are going to be there as well, and Redux is going for it. Here's the wind-up. Oh my goodness. Brock going to send him packing. Bad to worse again for Oxygen.
Enemy remaining.
Flyer has the off angle and Dapper capitulates. It's just Mitch now with it all to do. Good for one. But that post plant setup is in play. Mosh pit surely. Poison orb as well. Everything to fight through, and Mitch can't see a target. It's another sad save for the Sky.
Things were looking so good for Oxygen, man, but it crumbled in that 5 seconds post Redux getting that kill where things slowed down. You could just see the Oxygen side getting antsy, but really for no reason. There were Seekers popped from Mitch that were going all the way behind in market that were about to crunch the Moist Shopify players who were stuck in short, and they just got overly eager and were facing some angles fighting when they didn't really need to. I think they could have played that just a tad bit more passively and let Moist Shopify actually have to get into the site there before facing. At the very least, though, they've got a decent enough buy in this round, and they've gone for this aggressive shower control, which I very much like to see.
Oxygen here. despite that aggressive posturing. The smoke obscures a lot of what Scuba would otherwise have seen, but he needs to get in a good spot to make value out of the Stinger. He's going to have absolutely nothing, though, as it's a big group up towards B by MXS. And here's that hookah clear, customary now. DC's going to send him onto the side. They'll probably just ignore this wall and go for it. Yep, here it comes. Orbital strike. Dapper! Get him out! He escapes somehow. Brock going to remain inside hookah here, but Flyer looking for that left side swing. Poison orb up. Here comes that util, but Flyer doesn't quite find Mitch. Traded by Vic, sitting in Octagon, who finds a second. That is big. MXS not fully committed to beat here. They can sit back, let Wingman do all the work, and Marta's good for 2. And it's just Scuba, so far away from the action. MXS are asking all the right questions, and Oxygen don't even know what subject it is.
The flank from Mata pushing all the way through elbow during that hit. So nice, the timing on that he finds. But the utility that came down on site was just a tsunami. Those players that had to huddle into the container, try and, you know, let that giant wave pass. There was no waiting it out. They were forced out into the open, crunched into the corner. I mean, speaking of crunched,
forget about
my man Scuba is getting hunted down by everybody. It's a wrap. It was such a good exec for Moist Shopify.
What a brutal second half we've seen here. MXS stringing them together 2 and then 3. Despite uncharacteristically, it seems, losing the pistol. 1 out of 6. Oh, you take that. And now, of course, money for Oxygen is just, it's horrendous. Not a lot to write home about. No big ultimates online. Yes, they got a full cohort of util. That's it.
It's the pistol curse, I told you. They finally win one, and look at what happens.
Okay.
Spike down A.
Bruno in trouble. Eventually brought down with great little aggressive pop again. That's where Oxygen have been finding success so far. Marta and Flyer both fall, and Vic might have to satisfy himself with an exit or so in the 1 versus 4. There's a lot to do.
Oxygen throwing in that little mix of aggression again. I mean, frankly, 2 of the best rounds they've had now on defense are the ones where they were proactive, going for this TP crunch. The other round where they pushed down short, that's where they found success.
Molly.
These rounds where they're allowing Moist Shopify to take that space too easily, get a giant execute in. We've seen just how potent these executes are for Moist Shopify. They can't be allowed to set up in the way that they have on all these previous rounds for them.
Vic basically max money at the start of this round, so not bothered about this one going awry. When it looked like Oxygen have tried to take too much map control in order to wrest the gun away from him, they probably realized the risk is not worth the reward. Juice not worth the squeeze here with just how little money Oxygen themselves have. So we can enjoy a nice 20-second stalemate.
Vic, you know, maybe he'll hunt a little bit. Wouldn't hurt to do some economic damage, though.
10 seconds
You know.
left.
He can
At
afford
this
to.
juncture, you can just live so his team has more time to discuss what they want to do next round, you know?
Well, they probably want to
Just
talk about
slow things down.
these aggressive pops, right, from Oxygen. See if there's like a protocol adjustment in the early rounds. They might inoculate themselves from just randomly having from two or so players picked off without being able to trade it adequately. They have, that showstopper is online. Verno close to a thrash though, so if they can play for an orb, I mean, seems like a big risk, right? Trying to, you know, pop into showers and take control of that. So we'll see if that dictates Oxygen's defensive setup at all.
Yeah, and we'll see if Moist Shopify slow down at all here. Try and bait out the aggression if there is some to be baited out, you know, from a safe kind of distance. Let Oxygen expose their plans and then go back in, retake that space where it's actually safe. They're gonna pop aggressively into showers with the Seekers and the Dizzy. Oh my god, what a combo, what a rocket from Mata. That is a picture-perfect team play. Oh my god, that is disgusting. Verno backside now with it all to do. Mitch is trying to post up as well. Wingman is gonna go down with a spike.
Mata doesn't see that. But again, they have a pretty decent buffer in this round, and now Flyer is free to clean it on up. Only light armor here for Dapper. And he'll have to make his way out from vents, of which already that Mosh Pit has made it a harder trip. Crispy stuff. Dapper doubling his kills, I think, for the entire map with that singular kill. But you have 18 HP. You're trying to keep your team in the series, let alone the map. You're dead. Doesn't get tickled at least by the molly. That's a good start. But MXS have been mixing it up so varied, so hard to keep under the thumb. Dapper has to go wild, tripling his frags. Now for the map. Rourke with a shoulder peek now. He knows that Dapper's not on the spike. Dapper's here to salvage, save some face perhaps. The double face is going to be enough. And Onishima, the newest addition for MXS, cleans it up. And they have finally broken the trend of their struggles against Oxygen Esports. A 2-1 victory for the series.
Listen, it's only right that Goderus finishes the map off with the kill. It's only right. That was the big story coming into this game. People were confused at this roster change, bringing him in after the Ludwig Tarek Invitational with only about, a little over a month until Challengers started. After playing with Thief for so long, Odorous was their coach. He hadn't played in a serious match in a year. And here he is playing really well, especially that first map. He was going crazy. And after that, he just consistently was having those impact moments that you want. And he had them in spades. An impressive debut. And of course, more impressive than just him is the fact that with him, the team was able to finally overcome Oxygen, their sixth time facing off in however many months of the offseason. And they have finally, begun to even up the score a little bit. Now it's 4-2 for Oxygen in matches.
I mean, that's it. Sierra couldn't have asked for a better way to start off challenges now with a rewriting of history. The script now gets flipped and it's MXS, the top dog out of the gates.
6 times the charm, right? That's hey, they beat him when it matters most too, right? I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be the last time they face off in Challengers, but being able to start the season off right when there's so much to be playing for with just Challengers in general, great looks coming out from, I gotta say, both of the teams. This was honestly such a treat of a series through and through. I feel like we had so many questions heading into this series all, Uber, and I feel like I actually got quite a lot of them answered. We got to see Odorous, we got to see how he's slotting in, we got to see Dapper, how he's doing, we got to see these teams step up, how they're bouncing back and forth. This was a really full series.
Yeah, look, not the most flattering last map for Dapper there, but he obviously had his moments. And, we saw in the break, right, we got to interview, Oxygen, sort of what he brings to the team, a lot of those intangibles as well. But I do think they're probably hoping that he can, find more than one frag in sort of regulation time. It's just a little bit of a tough one for him constantly. Quite a few timing moments. Also, Brock suffering that same kind of curse here. But on moments where we got to see MXS properly scale into the back of that A site, they found a lot of value. I will say, some of the defensive retakes from both sides have been really good, especially on A, having to work with no info, having to come to flash and double face through Viper walls and all these brim smokes. Really impressed in both teams' protocols here. It was quite a grind, but Oxygen couldn't quite pick up in the second half like they had over the course of the rest of the series.
It's tough getting past Mata, honestly, because it was called out that how that hold, that take at that back A, that would just be so instrumental to the series. And Mata was at beast, Wyatt. Honestly, I can't just forget Lotus. Lotus never happened. Mata was just alive the last 2 maps, especially there on Bind, which was just so nice.
Yeah, found his confidence on Split for sure. After Lotus was tough, and then Split was just immaculate out the gate. I think he started Split and Bind. He had a crazy start on both. It was 8-2 at some point on Split, yeah, and then on Bind 11-2 or something along those lines, where both were just really hot starts. And once you're feeling that as a duelist, you can really carry that momentum through the rest of the game, continuing to play with the level of confidence that you need as a team, your duelists to be playing with as well, frankly, to make everything work. But overall, truly, that was a great series from both teams. Both showed a lot of promise. And, to the Dapper point on the last map, I mean, that's just clearly an outlier map for him. That's if you go back and look at the last 50, that is just an outlier map from him. So it's really not anything that I would take too seriously, to be honest.
We said the same of Marta right after Lotus. I don't think at any point that really shook our belief in, him being able to have a big impact on the series in the coming maps. And he did exactly that. So what we see a lot from individual players, having an off map here and there, especially when you got a player like Vic on your team, you're allowed to do that. You have 4 other people that can step in and have impact where you might struggle to on occasion.
And we'll get to see so much more from all these players down the line. That series is, of course, done, but we still have a little bit more, as we will have an interview with Flya after this post-series highlight, so don't go far.
One enemy. One enemy remaining. One down. Spike down A. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down A. Spotted. One enemy.
Success.
One enemy remaining. Blinding. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike planted.
Effect.
Attacker.
They say in life, there are no guarantees. They say a lot of stuff like that. Slow it down. Play it safe. Hedge your bets. So what? You gonna listen to that? You gonna stop because they can't guarantee you'll pull this off? No guarantee you'll win? No guarantee everything's gonna be fine? In life, you make your own guarantees. Nobody else will light your way. Start your own fire and keep it burning. And we guarantee you'll have one hell of a lifetime.
fantastic series coming out. Oxygen Esports going up against Moist Shopify. They've met many times in the off-season, but finally it was Moist Shopify's time to shine, taking the 2-1 win and getting their Challenger season off to a fantastic start. And to chat a little bit more about it, I have IGL Flya on the line. Honestly, fantastic game overall. You've played them. This is now the 6th time you've gone up against Oxygen Esports. This is the first time getting the round win when it really counts. What was the difference this time around?
Wait, can you hear me? Hello? We're good?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Sorry, can you ask the question again? I didn't hear you last time, so good.
You're all good. You're all good. This is the 6th time that you faced off against Oxygen Esports. Always been close matches, but this is the first time MXS getting that win. What was different this time around?
Well, throughout the offseason, we were not good at, I'd say, a couple maps, and, we just had time to get better at maps. I mean, we have a way bigger pool now, so we can match them up like, very well, and obviously maps they're comfortable on. And they also, playing against them, they've played the same past 3 months now, it seems, because this match and when we played in January was the exact same the way they play. So, I think we just been practicing harder or more.
Just leveling up, just building out things as well. There was a change coming to the squad as well. We saw Odorous joining the squad here, which is a move that I don't think we really expected. So I'd love to hear the thoughts on this roster change heading into Challengers.
It's more so like internal team stuff, but with Chad, him coming in, the strength's getting him. He's extremely good at calming. He took over my old role of being like the main lurker, which I think is good for me in terms of being with the pack and calling. And he has a lot of upside to, being on our team. And he also frags out, like you could just see. Like everyone's been hating on him, but he just played insane. yeah.
Who was that in the background? I have to know.
That was Mata.
Oh goodness. I mean, Mata definitely posted about Odorous and got shot up in that first map, but I have to say there was a couple pieces on the team. You're talking about, though, that Odorous kind of taking your old role of lurking. I know, though, as well, you were tweeting about the fact that, hey, you've always seen eye to eye with Chad in this coach role, that he's really impressed you just with his playing and stuff. I would love to know, too, with him now joining the squad with you IGLing, do you share that role at all? Is it all you? Does he do some mid-rounding?
I'd say it's mostly me. I think everyone on our team has a really good voice of just, like, when it needs to be said, they know how to make a call and speak for themselves and, like, play with their team. But most of, like, almost 95% of the overarching things that we do are my calls. But like I said, like, if someone has their ult, or we're going to a retake and someone's in a better spot than I am, or we have util, like, big thing, like, everyone knows how to do it. But I'm still, like, the main IGL, yeah.
Okay, and I'll talk a little bit about Mata too, because we got to see the first map wasn't necessarily too great for Mata, but the next 2 maps absolutely unlocked. So how does the squad do you help enable your duelist to be able to pop off like that?
Well, I'd say most of it is him. He's the best duelist in Challengers, hands down. Like, no other person is in contention for that spot at all. And I think we're just good at supporting him. I think me and Brock are great initiators on most maps. We're good at, making people stunned, flash, everything, but he does all of it. All the entering, pathing, his own ult plays, he makes everything for himself. So I think he's extremely self-sufficient, really good attitude. He's just, like I said, like, best player I've played with, so it's all him.
Wow. That is some high praise. Best duelist in Challengers, and your team lucky enough to have him. How do you feel like MXS's chances are just in Challengers this season? Because there is some really talented teams out there. You have M80 and TSM on the horizon too.
Oh yeah, everyone in Challengers is good. This Challengers is going to have way more talent and teams that can actually, like, show up than last Challengers, but we fare up, just as good as anybody else. I think we have an insanely good chance at ascending, so I think, like I said, though, I think pretty much every other team that's here is good. So it's going to be way harder than last season was.
Well, it's definitely exciting to watch. That series was absolutely amazing. Flya, thank you so much for chatting with me. Enjoy the rest of the night with your team, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. As for us, that was just our first series of the day, first series of Challengers, and it was an absolute banger. And of course, more on the horizon. We're going to have SAD Esports and Winthrop University after this break. Minutes. All right, is there anything that we want to pull going ahead of the series?
through with it again. They know that I got spirit with a pen. Don't know why they try to compete when they know that in victory it's never gonna end. Them in a week, that's why they could never speak. They ain't like me, I take it to the peak. Different type of steeds that I breed. Wheel up on the mic, they won't get one of these. Please, I don't wanna hear no talk from them. I don't wanna see nothing at all from them. They can't do it like me. So all I wanna see really is a round of applause from them. Vibes in the air, we caused it again. Life isn't fair, but we rode it again. All of my teams being ready for the war, there's no warning for them. Tell them again, I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We up, you never got one of them. Top of the pound yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again. Tell them again. Tell them again. Tell them again. Tell them again. I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We up, you never got one of them. Top of the pile yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again. Tell them 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 again. I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We up, you never got one of them. Top of the pile yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Valorant Challengers North America Stage 1. Sierra, Uber, and Wyatt here. First series definitely went the distance. Already dark outside, I'm not gonna lie. We'll have to see if our second series can be living up to that same potential. We have Winthrop University going up against SAD Esports. Uber, these were our first two qualifying teams, too, to go through our open qualifiers to make it. So this is exciting to see what they got.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, right? You know, like at the start of February that we saw these two teams go head to head. Plenty of time to have made a bunch of changes here, but neither had to go through the grueling process of doing another open qualifier, both getting through, of course, in that first one. I mean, you can't talk about either of these teams without talking about Bob. She is really the epicenter, I think, of a lot of what SAD are able to provide. Some incredible players on this roster as well. Scan, obviously on the Duelist, Darkest, incredible initiator. This roster's looking really good. And last time, it was a very close second map, but that first map between SAD and Winthrop was not tight at all here. So SAD, of course, boasting some names you might remember, like Gucci, for example, from a crew. They're going to hope to have a much stronger performance here because their group is brutal. That Group B features M80, TSM, Turtle Troop, and even the Glazers. So it's going to be very competitive.
Yeah, and at that, SAD with a team that beat Winthrop in that, or rather, it was Winthrop. They beat to qualify in that first open qualifier, and then Winthrop went down in the lower bracket. Yada yada yada. They made it as well. But this is going to be a rematch from that qualifying game for SAD, where they displayed some serious dark horse potential in my mind. They're one of my go-to teams that I'm going to be watching this season as one that can get some upset wins, actually have a pretty good run, and people won't expect it because the names on this team are not well known outside of Bob when she took a little break from the challengers scene, went over to GC, won a couple championships. All right, time to come back and just own in challengers again, and has been going crazy with SAD. But the roster is rounded out with some other players as well that people don't really know too much about, but will definitely be on their radar with this team competing in challengers this year.
I am definitely excited to see Bob competing again, because there is a little bit of a break from GC, but I'm excited to see that this roster that she's on been making this distance, especially to what we've gotten to see from Bob in the past. Very, very proven player. I mean, the past, even just we've gotten to see Cloud9 White. Before that, there was Onyx, and still just putting up these consistent numbers, Uber. I think that this is such an exciting player to watch, and I'm so excited we get to see more of her.
Yeah, she's super nasty. She was part of that initial very ambitious project by Sonics to bring an Oceanic team over to NA to try and have them qualify for some big stuff. I think they all ended up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of it. But Bob, the sole remaining Australian from that project, and obviously as time went on, that sort of shuffled up and changed. So she's very experienced on this team. She, generally we see her on the initiator. We're really taking over games just in that sort of raw individual level. A lot of clutch potential. And again, with a really solid core around her, we've seen this team find great success, forcing Winthrop to have to qualify through the lower bracket, which they did, managed to beat Thinking Men, who also feature in challenges here. So there'll be no slouches. But this is definitely a matchup of teams that has the potential to be quite, even. Just like the game we saw beforehand. You might be strapping yourselves in for a long one. The map pool, we'll get to it, looks pretty different to what we saw from these two first time around.
Exciting.
Since joining the team, I thought this was kind of insane. Sad, since joining, referring to Bob, since joining Sad, they have lost one game and they won 20 since Bob joined, which is mental. That is just, they're just running over the tier 2, tier 3 competition with a crazy consistency. And all the while, I mean, not to just be sitting here throwing numbers at you, but to just show how much of a contributing factor to that consistent success Bob is. She's currently going positive in 75% of their maps played. That is outrageous. Like, for comparison, last year in VCT, Crashies, also on a team that's getting a lot of wins, also one of the top initiators, just gets like 58% of the maps are going positive. Like, that is... So what I'm saying is Bob is better than Crashies, but also what I'm saying is, but also what I'm saying is that's just, an example to show just how outrageous that level of consistency from a player is. I mean, especially just on that initiator role, like every game putting up numbers, just so wild.
Bob is definitely someone to be watching. I cannot wait for that. But we need to talk about Winthrop University as well, because coming into this Challenger season, they are the first ever collegiate team to be qualifying for Challengers, which is definitely a really exciting thing to be talking about. A lot at first, and this is definitely a team too. Yes, we say first collegiate team over, but when we're looking at the players on this team, these are names that we have seen around in tier 2, tier 3 spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, seeing them come together now, I mean, we talked about, Gucci going way back to Accrue and multiple sort of mixed teams prior to that, right? Something that really caught my eye over the qualifying games was Nasi, who's also been around for quite some time sort of within the scene. This is a team that, like, is definitely going to be earning some respect. I mean, let's not forget, like, Jerk was featured on like a bunch of different teams like Renegades, that reformed roster. There was a trial for Gen G, very much, around the scene and in the picture. Nasi, specifically had this disgusting ace in their last match up against Sad on Breeze. Really, really impressive individual level here. So these are all players that can deliver, can perform. And what better time to do that than on your debut here in Challengers? You've got a lot to prove as the first collegiate team to do so. But again, world's your oyster if you can start with a great result here.
100%. I think someone with a lot to prove too is Gucci coming into this, because when we're looking at Winthrop, Gucci was benched going into this and then brought on to that starting roster again. So I feel like that's going to be even more of a drive here to make sure that this Challenger's debut coming out from not only the team, but himself here, Wyatt, can definitely be an explosive one.
For my money, I would say that Gucci's the best player on this Winthrop University roster, has proved to be a quality player for a long time over those rosters that Mitch has mentioned. The last time these teams went up against each other, some serious impact was dragging at some points. It felt like Winthrop to keeping a game close to actually potentially be beating SAD on one of their maps during their qualifiers, right? So just absolutely looking to him as one of the guys on the team that actually, I think it's not even a question, definitely has the most competitive experience in challengers and some of the more top NA plays. Really going to be the just the standout for them in a lot of different regards, and really fragging experience, all of the above.
And we talked about the fact these two teams did face off against each other in the last qualifiers, but heading into our map picks advance for the series, we're not necessarily going to see repeats from that series, which I'm actually really excited about. See a little bit of a fresh start from both of these teams, as we're going to be starting once we roll over into our map selection. Of course, we're going to be starting with kind of I say a favorite out there, Uber. I'll give the spoiler. We're going to be kicking it off on Icebox.
Yeah, great to see Icebox back. I think it's also some of the bans are actually really interesting and kind of indicate to me that there might be a lot of scrim history with these two rosters. Because if you look at previous data, there's no reason for SAD to Banbury's. They clapped Winthrop on that particular map, 13-5, like not remotely close. So there might have been something sort of brewing in the old scrims that sort of indicated this. Their split game was also very, very close here. So you're right. We get Icebox straight up. Lotus also picked by SAD, and then Ascent is what is going to be left over. Leads me to believe we should be expecting a different flavor if you want to go off of the last time these two teams played, which is in fairness over a month ago. Right? That was that first Challengers qualifier. So it's been a minute, and obviously we've seen some changes within the game. It really does mean that to a great degree for us as pundits, it's a fresh start.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a crazy map pool. I mean, Icebox is going to be fun on account of SAD's comp there is ridiculous if they run what they've been running, which is like a Reyna Gecko deadlock comp. It's maxed out silliness. So if they continue to run that, I'm all for it. Lotus, they've been sick on this year. They've just never lost it. They have 9 wins. That's it. So you have to be favoring them there, given already, frankly, heading into this series, they're already the on-paper favorite, right? Yeah. Can't really debate that.
Healthily.
But Lotus, you have to imagine that's going to be going their way. Icebox, though, is going to be wild. And I'm here for that. I'm ready to hopefully enjoy them running this crazy-ass composition.
Do we think we're gonna get the crazy comp? Because it has been a little bit. You never know, but I'd be here for, what was it, Reyna, Gecko, all this fun stuff.
Deadlock?
Yeah,
it's Reyna,
I'd be down.
It's Reyna, Gecko, Deadlock, Jet, and Viper, and they've been running it all this year. They haven't played it since the qualifier, though, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but I'm praying on it.
It's been a minute, right? I mean, again, if you've been watching Champions, you have seen like Deadlock find success on this particular map, like Georgimo playing it for Evil Geniuses, right? And there was like a whole bunch of hubbub around that because there were a few teams that were trying it out, testing it out, and then Jorg busted out in a very important kickoff game. And we see Reyna, right? We often see her like really used to try and pressure that A side on attack and make use of that Leah. Comes up in Europe a fair bit. We do also sort of see it mixed in here and there. All of that together, though, that is what is interesting to me. I'm really expecting to see so many of those off-the-wall picks. I mean, what Gecko provides. We saw so much of it on Bind previously, right? Being able to recycle those flashes, especially if you're like, playing like B-Long, for example, and want to see what the attackers are doing. You can also recycle it pretty comfortably from pipes on the A site. So there's a lot of options. I think Gecko's really powerful on this map. You can get a lot of value there. So do we get all 3? I don't know. I hope so.
It would be fun. I'm really, really hoping. But hey, Wyatt, I'm gonna throw you a hardball question right out the gate here. Going back to something you said, talking about SAD being the favorites in this. What do Winthrop have to do in this first map to convince you that maybe it's not quite as clear cut as that?
This is more of a thing for the entire series, to be honest. But I think the biggest drawback from watching Winthrop previously is that on defense, in particular, their players are extremely antsy. If they don't know what's going on, they tend to just peek individually way too much. They go for way too many info peaks at bad times, sometimes just re-peaking angles, the same angles to take fights. They just like struggle, it feels like, to slow down and let the game come to them. It's like in those tense moments, they play in an anxious manner. So I'm looking for them to really clean that aspect of their gameplay up. I think that was the biggest detriment when they lost to SAD last time.
And I think SAD were aware of that tendency because they exploited it really heavily in that game, especially the Breeze map. If you have a chance to go back and watch it, SAD posts like 3 or 4 players in mid on attack, on Breeze, and wait. And they invariably get a pick or two, and then they can obviously make an informed decision and sort of rotate off that. So that's like a little tendency. It's pretty easy to eliminate, especially the coach is really going to clamp down on that kind of stuff. And it's just a matter of having really well-drilled protocols. So keep an eye out for that. That will be a difference maker. If it's still an issue for Winthrop, it will be exploited over and over again.
All right, okay. So the biggest thing to look out for going into this, that I'm excited because it has been a month since we have seen them play. And when we're looking at some of these teams that we have here in challenges as well, I mean, we've gotten to see quite a few of these players play before in these different teams, but Wyatt now coming together and playing at probably what is going to be one of the highest levels of competition for a lot of them. I feel like this is the time to really like start getting serious, get rid of those bad tendencies, and to really just try and level up that game. And it's kind of make or break.
Yeah, definitely. There's no better time to show it than against a team that, you know, beat you to qualify, and now you have a chance to get a little bit of vengeance. That's, you know, that seems pretty good to me. Yeah, I definitely have hopes for this team in regard to, you can clearly see that their players have talent. I mean, despite in that game, I think SAD being significantly better with the actual macro of the game, they were still able to hang with them because there is legitimate talent on the team. For me, it's 100% about the team play to actually, you know, maybe be able to take a map off SAD or maybe even win a series. I think that's going to be a tough ask at this point, honestly. I'm pretty high up on this SAD roster. I think even Bob aside, Darkus is a player that I've had my eyes on for a super long time. When they were playing with a Moon Raccoons roster a while ago, they've got serious potential, and watching the SAD games, it's kind of that duo of Bob and Darkus that is really going to take over a game. And their duelist Skarn as well has had some really standout performances. And then if, you know, you kind of have that trifecta online where Skarn's entering into a site, and then you have Darkus sometimes on the initiator, sometimes on a different role, but 100% Bob on the initiator is like that trading follow-up that with the consistency they have. Like, I really think this team has something brewing, and it's just a matter of it kind of coming to fruition throughout this season. But I really think they could be an underdog contender when we're looking down the line for the entirety of Challengers this year.
We talked about looking out for some of the drafts or the sort of agent selections here for SAD. Still seen some weird ones from Winthrop as well. We saw like a Rainer pick on Breeze from Moobs, which was really curious, as opposed to taking a KO.
I hope they don't play that again.
Yeah, it was like,
but
it was,
yeah.
It was very sussy because, again, like KO obviously provides you like a strong flash and like a great info. Like these scan agents are really important on these like bigger maps, right? Where you try and want to make an informed decision about swinging these very wide angles. The Renner, it didn't pay off. They forewent the KO for that sort of pick. So it could be a matter of comfort because when we went around to split, like it was much more reasonable, much more standard comp from them. So it might just be a blip. A map like Icebox, like we already talked about, does give you opportunities to make some of those, like stranger choices. If we see the deadlock, that'd be a lot of fun. It's very, very good at obviously shutting down like those fast hits, or especially as teams on attack try to scale into yellow on that B side very quickly. That's where we saw, you know, Jorgamo, for example, really shut people down with a lot of that deadlock utils. So, yeah, I am very ready to see Agent Select. If you can't tell, Wyatt's getting a lot of questions because we're buying time here. So, still waiting to get a few of the players into the game.
You're not supposed to you're not supposed to tell them. That's the secret, Uber. What are you doing, man?
12 years of this, I'm not pretending it's not Phil anymore. Like I've done my dash. You know what I mean? I deserve like a discount at the local supermarket for how many times I've had to fill without telling people that I'm filling. Seriously.
Cats out of the bag. Cats out of the bag. Yeah. We're just waiting for players, I think, finishing up in the washroom and whatnot.
Yeah. No,
but
every time I look over at the Discord and see our producer typing, I'm like, oh, hold on. Is it going to happen? I start getting excited and no, never mind.
All right. Well, I lost my desk. But no, as we're getting prepared for the game, we'll let you two have a quick speaking break ahead of this match because hopefully it's going to be a good one. So we'll be back real quick.
Welcome back to week one, day one of our Valorant NA challenges. That's right. We are about to jump into our second match of the day. Bit of a delay. Thanks for sticking with us through that. It's going to be SAD Esports taking on Winthrop University, a match we've already seen play out about a month ago, and why we are tantalizingly close to Asian Select.
And it's oh so tantalizing because SAD play the silliest composition on Icebox, and I want to see it. And honestly, I don't know. It's silly at face value, but I think it has some legs. I'm gonna be honest, and they're playing it, and also Winthrop are playing some crazy stuff. Where this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. Listen, the Moobs Arena, when I saw it on Breeze, when these two teams played for a qualifying spot in Challengers, in the tournament we're watching right now, was not a fan of the Moobs Arena. But it's a lot better in Icebox than it is Breeze. This SAD comp, though, Mitch, this is what I'm talking about. The double duelist Reyna Jet with the Deadlock and the Gecko. I have seen, listen, there's a lot of flash combos going on with Gecko, right? Like you throw out the Dizzy, you throw out a whatever flash. So you throw out the Dizzy, you throw out a Leer to try and blind someone cool. They have way too many targets to shoot at. They're going to get blinded. You're going to get that kill. That's easy, straightforward combo that we're going to be seeing a lot here. But honestly, I've been liking Deadlock, the little... Now listen, I never thought I'd be commentating a Deadlock. I don't know what her abilities are called, but you know that little grenade, the crouch grenade? That just, you know...
Oh, like the Gravnet grenade?
Is that the Grav? Yeah. Ah, the Gravnet. Yeah. All right, that's why they pay this guy.
But no one used ability names anyway, bro. The crouch grenade is good.
But the Gravnet in combo with the mollies is super nice. And honestly, just seeing Jawjamo use the Gravnet with EG, who are using Deadlock on this map, finding nice timings to catch players out was pretty sick. And there's just a lot of common post plant positions on this map where that Gravnet finds value, like back yellow when you're on a B plant. It's sick there. So listen, I'm here for this. I like what I'm seeing, Mitch.
All right, let's strap ourselves in for this one. Winthrop University, their opener, the first collegiate team ever to make their way into challenges, takes on SAD. It'll be Icebox to kick us off here. Very different story in terms of maps than what we saw last time around, and it is the wackiest comp you're going to see on this side of the Pecos. That's right. Well, you're going to have the Gecko, the Reyna for both sides. This is a throwback and a half. And of course, Coburg will be on that Deadlock. Stick around for this one, folks. It's bound to get a little spicy.
And here we go. Immediately, the Gravnet Molly combo to try to catch someone that would go for that ult orb. No one is, however, but they're going to be able to get the space off the back of it. They have this KJ set up to deal with, but they should be getting the site for relative free. It is this flank, though, that is the crucial point of this map. Or round, rather.
Here. One is good. How about two? Nope. Move's able to trade that one out here. And again, the attack is SAD, able to get straight up onto the side here. So many players biased towards that mid wrap here for Winthrop. Gonna have to try and activate them somehow. Jerk's done a good job here from mid. Shots in towards screens, and they've got what they wanted. 3 versus 3 in the post plant now, and here's the flank now getting revealed. Gucci's done well to cross. A little bit of a risky moment to make that happen. But Bob deals with them. That's that Rafters presence down. Got his own. Moves and Evil try to working well. And there's a transfer of shot there, but Moves just staying alive at 2. Winthrop get that defuse.
Moves staying alive barely as well because of that earlier orb they collected, getting up to 140 HP. Reyna kind of busted on pistols, to be totally honest. That is definitely where she thrives. I liked the call from SAD to flip the map, though. After realizing that there were 3 players flanking, they plant, you know, on the opposite side of the site and actually take space on the defender's side of the map. Good decision, but genuinely, that overheal for Moves paying dividends. A nice retake.
So far, it's working out. For SAD, again, they do get that plant at the very least here. We can see the buy there straight away, an outlaw for Infiltrator. Gucci going to be on that long angle towards B, often left on an island here with that A retake wall left in his wake. Skarn's going to start to peek here. Gucci probably has very limited information about this, but Jerk is obviously drifting, playing over towards Kitchen, so will be available. And the curry spot being sat in by Zoe here until later in the round.
Poison's off.
Someone's always got to man the curry spot. Love that he has an iconic part of a map named after him. deserves it for all the good work he did shooting flankers from spawn. It's nice tap from Gucci. Should be able to clean more up, but doesn't. All right. Well done from Skarn to deal a little bit of damage. We'll see if they can make anything more of it. Maybe Zoe will go on a late